guys, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, then welcome, and if you're an oldie but a goodie, then thank you so much for coming back to another video. Okay you guys, so as you can tell by the title, this video is going to be a part 2 of the video that I just recently posted on my channel, which was all about odors, discharge, itching, just a women's health topic. So I wanted to do a continuation of that video and just talk about the cures, what are things that you can do to prevent those, and basically just common everyday natural things that you can do to kind of help prevent those type of women's health issues. As stated before in my previous videos, just for reference purposes, I am a registered nurse. A lot of this advice and tips and stuff are actually tips that we do give to patients in the office. These are things that I see routinely in practice, and so I decided to start this little women's health series here on my channel and just kind of help out, just help you girls out and just make this topic something that we can talk about, that we can discuss in the comments, and just come together and help each other out. Okay, so if you haven't already watched the previous video, I will link it down below. I will actually link my past 2 videos in this women's health series, which was my hygiene routine for feminine hygiene routine, and then the other one was where I talked about the different odors and the different type of discharges, what they mean, what are some of the common ones, how to know when you need a visit to your provider, and that type of talk. So I will leave those 2 videos linked down below. These videos are kind of going in sequence, so if you're watching this one and you haven't watched the others, I would just recommend you to go watch that one, so that way you know what I'm talking about, and then you can hop onto this video and just talk about the cures for the things that I talked about. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So in the last video, the main concerns or the main odors and discharges that I talked about had to do with yeast and BV. I feel like those are the 2 most common infections and the 2 most common concerns that we see in women's health practice, or that we as females can encounter, because these are really just common infections that can occur, throughout the lifestyle. Like, we are all susceptible to changes in our pH, and for the most part those 2 infections come from an imbalance in the pH. So as I talked about in the previous video, yeast just comes from an overgrowth of the candida fungus, and then BV usually just comes from an overgrowth of bacteria which you already have colonized in the V area. So a lot of people were asking in that video, like, what do you do about it? Because you guys were tired of just going back and forth to the provider, being prescribed antifungals and antibiotics, and for it to just have it come back and return, and it just becomes a recurrent thing. I'm just going to talk about a few tips. I'm going to talk about one product, and then I'm going to give you guys a few lifestyle changes that you can do to kind of help that problem. Right, so the first thing and the first cure that I want to talk about, which I feel like is just a top-notch cure for this, is boric acid. Now I know this sounds so scary, like acid, that word it's just gonna scare people away, but let's just talk about this for a moment, because I feel like this product is very underrated and not really talked about that much, especially in the clinic environment. It's something that is in the textbooks. It is proven to be effective. It's FDA approved to be effective in treating yeast and BV and a few of the most common vaginal concerns, such as itching and the abnormal odors and the abnormal discharges and things of that nature. But for some reason this is almost like an undercover product. So this is the one that I want to talk about right here, which is from NutraBlast, and this is the Boric Life pH homeopathic. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what it's used for, and then I'll talk about what I use it for, because knock on wood, I always like to knock on wood when I say this. Fortunately, I've never suffered with yeast or BV or anything of that sort, but I do like to use this. So basically what this is a suppository, and it basically just promotes a healthy vaginal health. If you are one of those girls that were commenting in the previous video, speaking of the recurrent yeast and just the recurrent issues, I feel like this is something that is so perfect for you and your concerns, because I always like to bring this up when it comes to like antibiotics and antifungals, because really what is occurring with that is if you're prescribed an antibiotic, say for example BV, you'll be prescribed an antibiotic, you have to finish the course of that, and I'm sure that we all know, antibiotics do disrupt the normal flora that's going on in your body. And so what happens is that now you had that antibiotic, your pH is disturbed, your flora is disturbed, everything is just disturbed. And a lot of time the patients come back and then they start complaining of a yeast infection, which makes sense because you just disturbed the whole entire colony and the whole entire flora down there, and it's just evident that you're going to have a yeast infection. So a lot of times we actually prescribe antibiotics and antifungals at the same time because we know patients are more likely to return with a yeast infection after being treated for BV or something like that. These little things come into play. Now this is basically just for supporting the pH. It's boric acid powder. It's inserted intravaginally. This kind of just helps the overall health. It's going to really help you with a lot of the common issues. You don't even have to have like BV or yeast. This can actually be used for preventative purposes as well. So if you're one of those girls that have the recurrent issues, these are actually recommended for you to use maybe like before your period, maybe after, or you know, you can kind of track your cycle, and you know, you guys know your bodies the best. So these are kind of used for, you know, those moments when you actually want to regulate your pH. I like to use these. I maybe use them like once a month or maybe even like every 6 weeks or so, just to kind of keep my pH like in check. I really feel like it just refreshes everything down there. The way I like to think about this, it's almost like a probiotic, but it's especially like for that area because it doesn't go systematically. This is inserted intravaginally, so it's just, you know, it's just gonna stay in that area down there. So no, it's not something that you're ingesting orally and it's just gonna go throughout your bloodstream. These actually are available over the counter, as in you don't need a prescription for this. And I feel like this is just one of those little undercover secrets that is just so amazing. Literally, there has been so much patient success with the use of this product. Like once we actually let them know, okay, you might need, you know, just some boric acid in your life, because with the antibiotics and the antifungals, they really only target certain strains of either the bacteria or the fungus. So this is really getting to the root of it because it's balancing the whole pH. With an antibiotic, you're basically just attacking a certain strain. This is just refreshing the pH, and it's almost getting everything back into homeostasis. I know I just threw a big word out there, but that kind of just means like the normal balance in your body. So no, I just went into a long discussion about this, but I really wanted to put this product out there because I don't hear it talked about that often. And like I said, it's one of those undercover like magical secrets. So I would definitely encourage you guys to do some research on it. You know, just check it out. Maybe talk with your provider and see if that's the best route for you and your most common concerns. And yeah, I love it. I will continue to use this. So yeah, I will actually leave the link down below so that you guys can check out the website, maybe read the reviews, check out the testimonials, the ingredients, you know, the FDA statements. Like, just check out the whole website and really just educate yourself on the use of this product, because this was actually introduced to me during my women's health class. Like, I didn't actually even know this was a thing until we had a discussion about it in one of our sessions, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, where has this been? Because this is a common concern. Like, yeast and BV is just so common, and as I spoke about in the previous video, it really doesn't come from, you know, like poor hygiene or certain things. It's really just all like in the body, and you know, we are all susceptible to it. It can happen to any of us. It could just be a random pH just being off balance, and boom, we have that infection. So, and then they also have these little feminine pH test strips that you can get. They basically just look like this, you know, just one of these little dipstick, one of these little dip papers. We use these all the time in the office just to run like pH tests on women if they come in with, you know, the itchiness or with the complaints of an itch or an odor, and we don't want to do like a full-on pelvic and a smear and all that stuff. We'll just run a pH and just see if like the pH is thrown off, and that can kind of guide us in the right direction. So you can do these at home yourself if you're ever having like, you know, just maybe extra discharge, or you notice that it's different. Like I said, I talked about all of this in the previous video where I spoke about, you know, just things to look out for and what you really need to be paying attention for. So if you notice any changes, you can just run a simple little pH test at home and make sure you're good down there. Okay, so I'm going to jump into some basic lifestyle changes that you can do to kind of help prevent like the abnormal odors and the abnormal discharges and stuff. The first thing is pretty simple, and it's something that, you know, we hear all the time, but that is diet. So yes, your diet does have a lot to do with, you know, your health, with everything, not just the V health, but, you know, your overall general health. So, you know, definitely just be mindful of the things that you're eating. A lot of times, like sweets and carbs and maybe like beer, if you drink a lot of beer, a lot of that stuff actually contains like yeast, and that can actually cause yeast infections, you guys. Like the sugar in sweets, if you are, you know, susceptible to that, that can actually change your pH and cause you to get a yeast infection. So maybe watch the foods that you're eating if you are one of those girls that has like the recurrent problem. Another thing, of course, is increasing your water intake. And such a common remedy. Water is like the remedy to everything, but make sure that you're staying hydrated, you're putting good fluids into your body. You know, again, the alcohol and like the sodas and the juices and that stuff may not be the best for the health down there. So if you're having recurrent issues, make sure that you're really hydrating your body and just staying well hydrated and drinking a lot of water. Alright, next is watching the type of underwear that you wear. Now, I like to wear cotton underwears. I think I spoke about this in my feminine hygiene video. But for the most part, I do cotton. I do lace waist. Yeah, lace waist only. Like, I don't like the ones that are full on lace. You know, maybe if you're being cute for the occasion, but you don't want to be walking around in that or wearing that type of underwear every day. Silk is not the best for you to be wearing every day. Thongs is not the best. I know I got a lot of questions on this, and yes, it is true. Thongs are not the move. You know, you don't want to be walking around in a thong like for long extended periods of time. I know, you know, a lot of us wear that, of course, with certain outfits. If you're wearing white pants or, you know, a certain fit, or it just may be that you need to wear that type of underwear for the occasion. But like I said, for a couple hours or for like half a day, that's fine. But you want to make sure that you're taking extra good care and extra cleaning extra well, because yes, the thongs will literally, you're basically walking around and you have that, like, you know, in the area where it's not as clean, which is back there. And a lot of times, you know, that bacteria can kind of like, as you're walking, make its way to the front, and that can cause an infection. So maybe watch for that and just make sure that, you know, you're staying clean down there. And if you are one of the girls that has like the chronic yeast or the chronic BV, then you may want to stay away from like soaps and fragrances and sprays. And a lot of these things I talked about in the hygiene video. So I'm just kind of repeating a few of the things. And last but not least, you may want to add a probiotic into your diet. Whether it be via like an oral probiotic or maybe the foods that you're taking. A lot of foods are very high in probiotics, so you may want. I mean, I do take a probiotic like on the occasion. I actually don't do it every day just because I forget to take it every day. But don't focus on any specific brands of probiotics. We actually recommend this to the patients because I feel like patients get so caught up on, oh, I have to get this brand because it's for this. We actually recommend that you switch up your brands as you go, because every bottle or every manufacturer, every brand contains a different strain of probiotics. So if you're switching brands, you're kind of hitting different strains, because not every brand contains like all the strains. There's like billions of probiotic strains. So kind of just switch up your probiotics, and that should actually help with the health like down there overall, especially if you get a probiotic that is, you know, targeted for vaginal health. That'll be bomb for you. Okay, you guys, so that is going to be it for this video in regards to the cures to a lot of these common concerns. I know it wasn't too much, but like I said, this is legit the holy grail right here. Like, if you didn't get anything out of this video, I hope you got information on this. Like I said, I will leave the link down below so that you guys can check out the website and check all the reviews and, you know, just educate yourself. And, you know, I'm leaving it up to you to do your own research. I don't, oh, Fatima said I have to take this. Like, no, I'm just introducing the product to you. Like I said, you know, talk with your provider, ask them if it's going to be the best for you. If you're having these recurrent issues, then, you know, something like this may be better for you than prescription antibiotics and that type of stuff. So yeah, you guys, that is going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments down below what other women's health topics you guys want to talk about. I feel like I've hit the main women's health topics, which is just like feminine hygiene and odors and a lot of these questions that you guys ask me all the time. So yeah, just let me know in the comments down below what I should talk about in the next episode. That's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.